everyone, today I'm going to be doing a review of the duology of Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea and Between the Spark and the Burn by I feel so bad because I can't pronounce this name, but April Genevieve Tucholke. I am so sorry for everything that just happened. Even though I will be reviewing a whole series and there's spoilers in this book, I'm still gonna do everything non-spoiler, just give you my general thoughts on it, so don't fear, you can stick around the whole video. I gave the first book 3.5 stars and the second book 3 stars. This book is about a girl named Violet and her twin brother Luke who live in a mansion on the coast of Maine. Their parents have gone off to Europe because they're artists and they just wanted some new muse to do some more painting, and so they're kind of just stuck and they need more money for stuff like food. So Violet has the idea to let them rent out their little guest house on the property, and one day, right where this book picks up, a guy named River comes and fills that rental whatever, and from there things go down. There's some paranormal stuff, a little bit of relationshipy things, so their life is just put into a whirlwind of activity ever since this person shows up, and I think this book was pretty good. I read it in 5 hours non-stop. I literally stayed up on a weekend from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. with snack breaks and tumbler breaks and stuff. But this is the first time in forever. For the first time. Okay, unintentional reference. First time in forever that I've read one book in a whole sitting. So I really did enjoy this because I couldn't put it down. So first of all, going into this, I had a real issue with the fact that they were living by themselves. From there, it just kind of grew a little bit because a lot of things just felt unrealistic. Like, I'm pretty sure if you lived by yourself when you're 17, you wouldn't have such an easy and convenient life as they do. I feel like people would show up to your house like, where are your parents? And that never happened. And they were very independent, which is a trait that I liked about them. However, it's like, again, unrealistic to me. Maybe it's just because I'm a huge baby and I'm like, where my mommy at? But definitely was just not able to connect with that, kind of. I also love the setting in this book. It's very reminiscent of Because of Winn-Dixie. It's a small town, everyone walks everywhere, and there's just really tight-knit communities. Your neighbor's your best friend because everyone else is too far away. Lots of town history and reputations, and I just love small town settings, so really, really loved this one. My first impression of Violet is that I really like her, and even though I just said first impression, that continued throughout the whole book, is I was consistently finding myself able to connect with Violet. I liked Violet. I felt we had a lot in common. She said some very snarky things, and she was just such a cool character. And I, again, was able to be on her level, and I was like, I understand why you're thinking this, why you're doing it. River, as a first impression, I was like, the bae has arrived. But again, back to the whole unrealistic thing, he just looked so vintage and rich, and he was like, no, I'm only 17, but he was just like, it was so hard to believe, like, oh, so a 17-year-old came here by himself, and he has this fancy car and fancy outfit, and I couldn't put together the pieces, but nevertheless, I forgave him because I was like, wow, he's nice, and so I let it slide. Toward the middle of this book, when more of the actiony stuff starts happening, back to the unrealistic thing, several things just seemed random and weird, and I couldn't really understand why some of the things that were happening. I just didn't like how the whole paranormal aspect played out into this story. I didn't really like it that much. It was a very weird thing occurring. I can't spoil it, so I can't really talk about what I need to say about it. The huge, huge issue I had with this book is that Violet and River have their little relationship occurring, which I was totally fine with. I was like, yes, you two are cute, let's do it. But then River, the whole book, he's just building lies, and he even admits it, which is why I was just like, what? Violet, which is a frustrating thing about her, is she would be like, I don't trust him, he tells lies all the time, I don't know why I like him, but then she would be with him anyway and be like, but it doesn't matter. And that just grinded my gears, that she had this mindset the whole series, is even though he's this way, I still like him. And I couldn't forgive River for some of the things he said and did, and as you can probably tell, toward the end of the book is when I started to not like River, because this huge shift happened in his character. So at the end of this book, I was kind of done with the relationship, but I still was really itching to know what happens in the second one, because at the end of this book, there's like, not a cliffhanger, but there's a new person introduced that puts a whole new twist on things, and you know, stuff is gonna go down. So that's my review for the first one. Moving on to the second one. Just a bit of side information I forgot to mention. Neely, which is River's brother, ends up coming into that story, and I liked him way more than River. So one of the best things I like about this book is there is a lot more Neely in this one. I could totally connect with him, and he was just so sweet, and you know how you have two brothers and you just like one of them a little more. I don't think it was meant to be a love triangle because she's still with River, but she has Neely accompanying her throughout this book, and it's, again, was it intended to be a love triangle? I don't know, but I was still like pushing her to go for Neely because I felt like he was just more honest, he was more pure-hearted. I super enjoyed this book because of they move around, and they're not in the same town as they are in the first one. They're kind of on a road trip, and I love how several different things occurred in several different places. It was a really nice chronological, this happened here, this happened here, this happened here, and it was all very different and very interesting, and that's why I liked it so much. Again, there is paranormal things in here. I like this one better than the first one because just it's a more different type of paranormal aspect. You find out a couple new things about the characters in this one, and overall, I thought it was a pretty good continuation of the series. However, I really am a little bit frustrated with the ending. It definitely ends in a way where if you are in the mindset of you can read a book and then it ends and you're like, cool, it's done, I can move on. But if you're one of those people like me that is like, a book ends, but you need to be able to see like a long-term future for those characters, and this book really didn't touch on that for me. It ends a little bit abruptly. It ends so that you know what the characters are doing and how their lives will continue, but it's like, I feel like even though they kind of solved the main conflict that had been occurring, it still had the threat of happening again, like it wasn't truly stopped. On Goodreads, I talked about how many plot holes there were, but now just thinking about it, it's more of just, I feel like it could reoccur, and I'm very nervous about that, even though the series is ending, and I don't know why I'm nervous. But yeah. So that's it for my review for these two books. If you like the horror genre, I would say that these aren't very scary. However, they are a bit creepy, so like there's some scenes with some like half-possessed children, and yeah, possession plays a huge role in these books, so if you like things with possession, that's really kind of what these are about. Like I said, that's all, so thank you for watching this review, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, everyone!